and welcome to At the Edge of All Things here at Blackwater D&D. We are so excited to have you all very much. We're here to play a little bit of D&D, and the world's ended just a tiny little bit. So, you know, everything's chill, everything's cool.
Just a small amount of world ending, not a big deal in the slightest.
The world end.
Most of the world.
Most of the world, except for the ships that were on, that we did some good job saving, didn't blow anybody up, didn't do anything at all.
No blowing up happened at all.
None in the slightest.
Unless you think that, like, your fame is about to blow up because of how cool you are.
Whoa, amazing.
You're about to blow up in a real way, but, like, metaphorically speaking. You're literally going to blow up metaphorically.
Literally going to blow up metaphorically. We here at Blackwater D&D are so excited to bring you this wonderful interim campaign, and we have a very special announcement. Holy bananas, we are extending this fantastic campaign for an extra 3 sessions, potentially. We're going to let it flow and kind of see how it goes, but at most, we are going to be an 8-session arc because we are having such a fun time with this campaign, and it allows us to get a whole bunch of stuff together for campaign 2. So, Adam, how does it feel to be in the DM seat for a couple extra weeks?
I'm excited. I went to my little list of episodes that I've, like, figured out, and I went delete, and then I added a bunch, and then I figured it out. I also had one of those, like, aha, it all comes together moments today, and so I'm very excited.
Those are the most magical. I
landed where I wanted to land.
We are so excited here at Blackwater D&D to be joined by 3 of our wonderfully favorite people. You might notice that there is a no Tim Carlson tonight. That is, he is coming next week. Some stuff came up, but never fear. Daddy DM is coming next week. But we are joined this week by 3 fantastic guests who are with us for the entirety of this interim campaign. Roz, thank you for being here.
Oh my goodness, my pleasure.
Who are you and what do you do?
I'm Roz. And I sometimes also DM stuff on Questline.
Yeah! Amazing. Roz is the DM over for a fantastic campaign over on Questline called Ready to Roll. She is DM extraordinaire, amazing producer, and just fantastical human. So we're very, very excited to have her join us.
Make things happen. Yes.
You do make the good things happen, and we love to see it. We are also joined by another fabulous human, Faye. Thank you for being here.
Hi.
Who are you and what do you do?
Hello, hi. I'm Faye, but I'm also known as Mendarii on the interwebs, which is spelled Mendarii. And I do lots of writing and homebrew mechanics over on my Twitch channel. I also float around the rest of the internet doing other D&D content-related things. So you should come check all that out and see all the fun stuff that we're doing.
Amazing. Thank you for being here, Faye. And last but certainly not least, a man who needs no introduction, but we'll give him one anyway. Bam! Thank you for joining us, my love.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm so pumped to be here again.
Who are you and what do you do?
Well, I am Brandon Allen McClenahan, but I go by Bam, and I'm the DM for a little cannabis-positive D&D stream called We D&D, featuring a bunch of performers from the Las Vegas Strip and beyond. We are currently also in the interim between our first and second season, so it's kind of the perfect time to get a play. You know, all DMs dream to actually get a play a little bit. So yeah, I'm in this ArtHardStudios right now, which is also our channel in the studio itself, and we're getting ready to switch over to a whole new style of presentation. So I'm very excited.
Oh, wow, exciting stuff.
So exciting. Please follow all of these wonderful creators across all of the streams that they do. We are honored beyond all belief to have them here playing with us tonight. So I'm going to do some very, very quick announcements before we jump into the game tonight. So a big thank you to our sponsors, Legendcraft, a nerdy woodworking company from Calgary. Check them out. And if anything tickles your fancy, enter the code Blackwater at checkout for a discount. We're also proud to be sponsored by Sirenscape because epic games require epic sound. We are also a partner of Legend Keeper. This is the ultimate world building tool created by DMs for DMs. If you're wondering, hey, where can I see Legend Keeper in action? Well, boy, howdy, go ahead on over to Faye's channel because she uses it literally all the time. And we are going to be starting rolling it out as well.
Faye helped me start using it. And
so good.
Faye got to realize what a big dummy I am.
Adam didn't know how to use tick boxes. It was very sweet.
Very sweet. Very
dumb
cute.
Idiot
Very sweet.
Adam
He's a sweet boy. He's doing his best. But
I'm
you know
very
what?
pretty.
If Adam can figure it out,
pretty.
so too can you.
We are sending love as always to our campaign artist Tiana Kovacevic. You can find her at miss._Marston on Instagram. She is our campaign artist from campaign 1 and now has completed art for campaign 2, which we are very excited to roll out for you. We are also very excited to announce that we have a brand new dice sponsor for campaign 2. So I'm excited to show you because I have proofs of my dice and they are so pretty. I'm so excited. A big thank you to those of you who subscribe to us. Don't forget to re-up your Twitch Prime subscriptions because they don't roll over every month, but the regular subscriptions do. If you'd like to support our show above and beyond a subscription, you can type !donate in the chat to do that. Because thanks. We're also just really thankful to have you here week after week, supporting our show, coming and hanging out, and giving us a follow. If you haven't followed us yet, what are you doing? Go do that. Just follow us right now. It's one button. Whoop. And you did it. Great. So we have some fantastic programming coming up for you over the next week. Today is Monday. On Wednesday, DM Roulette is back once more with 4 fantastic creators, at least I hope they are. I've got to double check with all of those people this week. We are welcoming Jay from Swole Initiative, who has been a longtime friend of the show, and we're excited to welcome him. Weston, our Arcane Anthems over on TikTok, so we're very stoked to have him on the show, as well as 2 DMs that I really, really love and have been wanting to play with for a very, very long time. Abaddon Kilgrove, who you can find on Twitter. They are amazing, as well as Mistress Winter, who's just a powerhouse DM, and I'm super, super stoked to have her on the show as well. So that will be on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here. Our campaign 2 as well is coming. It's coming real soon. It's probably going to be looking at late November now, early December, because we are very, very excited to extend this wonderful little show a little bit further. So that's, we are also back on Saturdays with our world building. Adam has been diving in 2 feet to this wonderful world and doing a bunch of secret and not so secret world building, which has been really, really great. And thank you to our wonderful, amazing community for coming out to help him out there. So we also have a new intro tonight. I finally had some time to do it, so I made an intro, and so I'm very, very excited. So whether you are new with us tonight or you have been with us for ages, thank you so much for your support. We love you immensely, and thank you for hanging out with us at our table. We hope you feel super welcome here. And roll the clip. Roll the clip. Roll the clip.
On a dime.
I'm so good at it. Welcome.
Take it away, Adam.
Back. If you are just joining us here for the first time tonight, you are joining at a rather confusing junction of the story. But let me catch you up. Last we left off, the world ended. Our group of wonderful heroes. Well, I don't know if we can call them heroes yet. They haven't really done anything heroic. So our group of
we saved a
yourself
bunch
a
of
hero.
people, Adam. Get out of
saved
here.
a bunch of robots.
And the robots thereby saved a bunch of people. So
it's true. It's true. You are second degree heroes.
First degree butthead.
Can't believe you're trying to undercut our
murder or
accomplishments
fire
like this.
So I'm gonna call it the group. The group were tasked with heading out into the forest to investigate a crashed airship that held upon it a critical tool that would help the Iron Will, the ultimate heroes of the world complete their duties. However, they returned and found that the Iron Will had died and failed, and the tethers that were binding this world and keeping the elemental worlds at bay were becoming untethered, and everything started crashing into one another. In a chaotic series of events, the group managed to get their way to the Golem Yard within the Golbrene Skyport and get through the tunnels to the Chimera, Shren Oldbuck's trusty ship. They managed to escape, along with a collection of automatons, including Daisy, previously Century 3. And as you flew up towards the Andolu, that is where we start tonight's episode. And like each episode, I realize I did this in slightly different order. But like each episode, I start with a verse. This episode is called The Ship. Cling to what little hope you can hear as the world burns. Watch from above as mountains fall and the ocean churns. But care of heedless hope that may blind your eyes. Up here amongst the clouds, your waning time may fly. The truest tragedy of your final fate unfurls upon a sinking ship here at the end of the world. As the Chimera nears the Andolu, you can't help but be awestruck by the majesty of this testament to ingenuity. Despite the events of the day, hovering above you, the sun from behind wreathing it in a halo-like light, the Andolu is unlike anything you've ever seen. To call it a ship would be an injustice. This massive network of conjoined neighborhoods and boroughs, all held together and aloft in one glorious craft. But as you get closer, you see the countless ships racing to find a place to dock, the buzzing kestrels and the lumbering archons alike, trying to find a mooring upon this vessel, this unlikely life raft. As the Chimera limps forward towards the huge port built on the underside of this immense vessel, you hear a voice, Shren, at the comms.
Approaching vessel, please identify your designation to be cleared for landing.
Shren kind of shuffles through some of his alternate codes that he uses for smuggling and pulls out the actual one for the ship. He says, "Oh yeah, this is the Oldbuck calling in, Kestrel class, BZ12Y9. Designation, Chimera."
Copy that, Kestrel B712Y9. Welcome to the Andolu Chimera. Please proceed to the dock I-93. Emergency personnel will be present if there are any available. Over and out.
I can't believe that worked.
You fly
Good job,
onward
Shren.
toward dock I-93, bringing the Chimera into the chaos. The ship is moored, and you are greeted by an official, if rather frazzled-looking port officer. Names, please.
Hello, I'm Burgundy. And I'll hand over probably some credentials.
Yeah, absolutely.
And documentation that I have. And this is the very brave crew. Some few of us who have escaped. We have on
You
board
said
with
it.
us many sentries.
Does everyone give their names?
I give my official credentials. My name is Smoke. I'm a mechanic at the Golbrene Skyport. Hello. Also, thank you, D and D, Dungeons and Do-Girders. Welcome on in, folks. Welcome on in. Thanks for being here.
Hello. Ember, do you hand over any credentials?
I mean, I'm assuming that this person is probably very official looking, right? Like, this looks like, okay. Yeah.
You see, like,
Ember
around you,
until she does.
literally, like, countless other ships doing this exact same process. It looks like they are just trying to
See who survived.
create some order and take basically a tally. Yeah.
Yeah, Ember will step up, and she will say, Ember, I'm a commanding officer at the Goldperne Skyport as well. Yes, I'm one of the people of this crew.
And Shren, do you hand papers?
I reach in and I pull out my fake papers. And I'm like, yeah, Talvin Youngdo. Pleasure to meet you,
Okay.
friend.
You hand their papers over, and the person does not ask for papers from Onyx or Daisy. And they kind of shuffle the papers looking through, and they stop and pause for a moment. Their eyebrow cocks a little bit. And you watch as they grab a messenger, grab him by the arm. We found her. Let the major know. And the messenger runs off. After a bit of time, you see a tall, handsome human man with piercing amber eyes, dressed in the uniform of the Steam Guard, stride forward, accompanied by 4 other Steam Guard soldiers. Ember, you recognize your old friend, the Captain Mishwell. Portmaster Burgundy, I am Major Mishwell Beldwin. We need to talk. He escorts you and whoever wishes to tag along. Through the...
Did you want us to come with you?
Smoke and Ember.
Okay. I look to Onyx. Will you stay with Shren, please?
I think I can do that, yes.
Okay, and will you tell me where you are when you're done? When we're done?
I'll make sure to let you know.
Okay.
At hearing Ember's name, you see Mishwell clocks you for the first time, Ember, and kind of looks surprised and glad, relieved that someone he knows has made it through. And he escorts you through the chaos of people arriving from the Calamity. And after some time of bustling and pushing, you find yourselves in a rather bare office. Mishwell turns to you.
Captain.
It's a major.
Major.
Yeah, field promotion. During the evacuation of Diametros, the Lord Senwir Etanag was lost. You know Senwir Etanag to be the Lord of Diametros. He was a young man with no heirs and was the last of his line. With House Etanag gone, the command of Diametros would fall to the Lady Ruby Yiskar. But she is missing and presumed dead. That means the last surviving member of the Goldburnay Port Authority with any real command is you. There's a meeting, a council being held to discuss our nation's futures. It is hoped that you will attend as the representative for Diametros.
Of course. And we bring news of Ruby.
You know where she is?
We spent her last moments with her, and she did not survive.
I see, then. It's official, then. You are the last point of authority.
We're ready. Anytime.
Right.
Is the meeting open?
No, but there will be allowances, assistance and whatnot. You could probably bring one other person, maybe an automaton as well, to help carry things.
I've escaped the calamity with this crew.
No, I understand. I perhaps have a solution to one of your companions. Ember. It's... I'm glad to see you got out of it all.
How you doing, Major?
Intense music change. Wow.
Wow.
Slaps, bro.
Wow.
Just you 6 times in the face out of nowhere.
At this point, Smoke has just kind of like done something that she did when she was little. She's just taken a finger and just like hooked it in one of Ember's belt loops, just because she's nervous. So she's just kind of like holding Ember's belt loop, just not saying anything, but just quiet and.
He strides over to you, Ember, and he kind of looks at your sergeant badge, denotes your rank. We lost a lot of people from the Steam Guard, and I am finding myself as the representative of the Steam Guard at this meeting, whilst the general is unwell. Recovering from everything. I could use a captain I can trust. And he pulls the pin off your vest.
You know I'm right behind you.
And he pulls out and he gives you a field commission. You are a sergeant, a non-commissioned officer. You skip like 6 ranks.
And 2 levels.
And he fully just promotes you to captain. You get the sense he's not just doing this because like there's no one else. He trusts you. He knows that you have a bit of a raucous past, but you can get shit done. He puts the pin on. You can accompany me to the meeting. And I'm guessing Burgundy. Well, Lady Burgundy now? I'm not sure, honestly, how it works. But I'm guessing that your assistant will be Smoke, right?
It's up to you, Berg. You don't have to pick me. It's okay. I know I'm not the best choice.
Now is not the time for that, Smoke.
What?
Look inside yourself and be so much more proud than you have ever been of yourself. And stand up.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
She's ready.
Okay. Yeah, okay. If Berg thinks so, then I trust your judgment. It could be a mistake for all of you, but I'm just saying.
We cut to the docks where bustle and push and yelling, still chaotic. Shren and Onyx, you kind of shoulder your way through the crowd. And as you do, Shren, someone fucking shoulder checks you like hard. And you almost go to the ground, if not for Onyx catching you. And as you get up, you feel a note crumpled in your hand. And you look at it and you read, "Care to pay off some debt? Meet me at," and directions to a location. And it's tagged with a signature that you know quite well. The signature of Brenna Red.
Oh, Brenna.
Who's that?
Just some rubbish, something like that. Hey, I've been looking at you. A bit strange. Bit different.
I mean,
Maybe I overheard a little convo the other night with your friend Smoke.
yeah, you can say that. I'm a bit.
All right.
different.
And I got a question for you.
I have an answer.
What do automatons do when they die?
Jesus Christ.
Holy shit.
Rust.
Asking the real questions. Ooh, good answer.
That's pretty good. But the joke goes, they rust in peace.
Fuck.
Here's a question: does Onyx laugh, or was that a Cody laugh?
No, I think both. For sure. I think Onyx would laugh at that. That is funny.
Amazing.
Is this someone we need to worry about?
She's an old friend. You always got to worry about old friends, right? Oh, crap. Do you have friends?
I suppose now I have a couple, yeah.
Hey, you can count me as one of them, buddy. Pink, pink. I like bang on his little leg.
Appreciate it. Should I,
It's good to have friends in low places.
Very low. Should you... Looks down.
Tips his hat.
Should I get somewhere high while you meet this person?
Actually, you might serve as a little bit of protection, you know?
My thoughts exactly.
Oh, it's your gun. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's great. So I just pull it out. I pull the note out and I show him where we're going. And perhaps we could find a nice outlook for you. You can watch me back. If things get slippery, I'm good at getting away.
And I don't miss.
I knew I liked you. Let's go.
So you push your way through the crowd, and make your way to this location. As you get there, you see the crowd kind of thins a little bit. Seems like almost like the guards are holding people at bay. And as you approach, a guard goes to stop you, and you hear, "They're with me." And the guards step aside, and you slip in. And you see a figure that you recognize, Shren, as Brenna's kind of right-hand man. You recognize Tilden Swan. And Tilden looks at you and goes, "I should have known anyone survived this shit. Would have been you, Shren."
Oh, I was never in any real danger, friend.
Well, Brenna says that Brenner wants she says you got a discerning ear. And she wants your 2 cents of what's gonna go down. So if you can pop in, keep an ear out. Maybe don't look like you know Brenner. You know, it'll all work out.
I've a lot of practice pretending not to know her.
Right.
But said some debt. How much? Am I cleared? Will this wipe my slate?
I think you know the answer to that, Shren. That is, Brenner will talk to you afterwards, and I'm sure she'll square you away some, but that's that'd be a mighty favor to be doing to clear you of that.
You gotta try, right?
I respect it. Well, there's the door, and he gestures to a door, and as you look and turn back, they're gone. And you step in right around the same time as Major Mishwell and Burgundy and Smoke and Ember also step into this room.
Oh,
As you
look at that.
Well, there's a few people in here. As you arrive in this large chamber, you see representatives from the major cities of Theodothus. You also see the unseen Justicar, head of the Church of Tavoth Cat, his eyes bound by a ceremonial black cloth. You see a blue-grey stone Genasi with sapphire eyes talking with them, and you recognize her as Citrine Lazulus, the head of the Guilds Collective. First Engineer Mirshwan Onephrin, Lord of White Steeple, gestures wildly with his mechanical arm as he argues with a representative from Turag.
Adam, you can't just give me all of these names so quickly.
It's so many names.
I'm like,
blue sapphire eyes.
I was like blue greystone, Genasi, citrine, lazuli, and then the unseen
Adam, you're
Justicar.
gonna-
Cool, great.
You got to drop all this in the Discord after. If you need
Yeah,
an
I will.
excuse to join our Discord, now is the time because Adam's going to drop all of these beautiful
Mhm.
names in there at some point.
You see the first engineer, Mirshwan Onephrin, Lord of White Steeple, gesturing wildly with his mechanical arm as he argues with a representative from Turag, who wears the traditional sky blue half mask that is common amongst the people of that city. Shren, you see grinning in a corner, watching everything silently with an incredibly discerning eye, is a woman with faintly red skin, glowing orange eyes, and a mess of black curls that sit behind a crown of 6 grey horns that protrude from her skin. You recognize this as Brenna Red, the Diametrosan representative of the Exchange, the criminal coalition. As you continue to look around the room, a hush falls over the inhabitants. His Grand Majesty, King Embrus Lasser, first of his name, King of the Eastern Realms, Lord of Eastfall, Keeper of the Eternal Flame, and last surviving crown of the Tetrad Monarchy. You see a stunning man, about 7.5 feet tall, stride into the room. He is dressed in impeccably rich clothing and a long fur-trimmed cloak. A thry-pointed crown, seemingly carved from a huge single ruby, rests upon his brow, nestled between 2 magnificent sweeping horns. His eyes glow like the deep coals of a long burning fire on a cold night. This is the Efreet King, Embrus Lasser, in all his glory.
Adam, I know we don't really do this in this campaign.
I don't need to roll for hot. It's a nat fucking 20.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm already in love with him.
Like,
Damn.
I'm like,
you do see some of the representatives get a little flustered as he makes eye contact with them. He is hella
Embrace the
sexy.
stare. Hello.
Hello.
My people. What can one say on a day such as this? We have faced trial and tribulation as a nation before, but nothing quite like this. The other 3 houses of the Tetrad are scattered, missing, presumed dead. I am all that is left. And though this burden is a heavy one, I will take it on for the good of the people, so that we may continue to survive, no, thrive in these times. We have placed wards upon the ship and are doing so on other ships to ensure the elemental chaos does not reach within the Andolu. And we have sent this knowledge of how to craft these wards to the Drabroxus Empire as a show of good faith. You see the king addresses a silver dragonborn. Ambassador Ashwing, what word have you from your empire? She nods and steps forward.
This devastation is not unique to just Viadothus. It would appear that few, if any, places have escaped unscathed. What remains of the Drabroxus Empire is aboard our 5 greatest Archon vessels. The Shattered Immortal, the Sunflare, the Sky Den, Pulse Virtue, and the Adragar hold our surviving people. Her Imperial Majesty, the Emperor Ordrazar Vedros Galgor, 3rd of her name, High Lord of the Dragonflight, Queen of the Gilded Throne, Defender of Drabroxus, Light of the Sun and Bearer of the Heaven's Crown, sends her most gracious thanks for the magics to hold this calamity at bay, at least upon our ships.
She continues to kind of wax poetic for some time about how this gesture will forge bonds between the nations of friendship, and it's Shren, you like listening to this, it's all like diplomatic bullshit.
Adam, I have a question. While all that's happening, specifically, I wanted to, during when the king was talking about the remaining members of the Tetrad, but I also just kind of like room check in general, want to see how everyone's kind of responding to what's going on. But if I have to pick something specifically, I want to like see if the king seems like genuine about feeling like the loss of the other members of the
insight
Tetrad.
check.
Yeah.
Great call.
Weird, he's got so much to gain and all.
That's true. Can't be that hot and empathetic.
While Ember's insight and taking a look into that wonderful person, I am fascinated by the guy with the mechanical arm. Do I know this person?
You would know of White Steeple.
Yeah.
White Steeple is a country to the far northeast.
Okay.
It falls within the realm of fire. So you know that Viadothus is split into 4 realms.
Yes.
There's the eastern realm, the northern realm, the southern realm, the western realm. Gotta look at my notes here that I wrote down because I am splitting notes.
I don't really care who he is. I just wanted to, so I'm gonna. I just as Ember's taking a look around the room, I'm just gonna like let go of her belt loop and be like, "It's okay, I'll be back." And I'm just gonna start like slowly making my way through the crowd, very, very slowly. Very.
You know that White Steeple is the like home of ingenuity.
Yeah, I love that.
Like
I love
their
that.
lord is referred to as the first engineer. Like, but you know that this man who is a fire genasi is a noble, like the head of a house, specifically House on Ephron.
I would just start slowly making my way over. Also, hello, Initiative Order. Thank you so much for the raid, my friends. Welcome on in. And I would just like, I'll let Faye do her thing, but yeah, I'm just be like, and I'm just gonna go over that.
What was your insight check, Faye?
It's gonna be a dirty 20, Adam.
Ooh, yeah.
As far as you can tell,
the
king is being genuine. And you see the reaction of the crowd is what would be expected. 3/4 of the government of this nation has been like presumably destroyed, and so people are notably concerned by this. The way the kind of country works is each realm is run by their like relative lord, who is then the monarch of the Tetrad, who like represents from Astaris, which was built at like the crux of all 4 realms coming together. Like the only neutral ground kind of thing.
Can I tell how many? Sorry, how many people are promoted suddenly versus how many surviving? Like, just as a general kind of percentage, are most of the people suddenly?
Yeah, make a history check for me.
So it kind of around the room, it seems like everyone's kind of reasonably distraught. Is there anyone that stands out as not that way?
With a 20, you see some people with like a glimmer of ambition in their eyes, but not to the degree of like,
not like a
it's a like oh fuck, it's a it's a like oh fuck, that's bad news, but if I angle it right, I could have that like benefit me kind of vibe.
Sure.
Like, everyone receives this as bad news. It's just some people are like, how can I use this bad news to advance myself?
And that's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah. Berg, what was your history check?
12, but plus 7, so 19.
19. With a 19, you see that some of the representatives you know quite well, but some of them, like for example, the representative from Turag, who the first engineer was talking with, you don't immediately recognize them, and you assume that they are likely like a cousin or someone far down in the kind of rung of inheritance that have just been thrust into this position. You see like a nervous looking 12-year-old boy who's like looks pretty fucking out of his depth, but he's wearing this like big cloak with a big official looking chain, and a veil covering his mouth, which you know to be a very common dress for Bashir, which is one of the western cities. And this kid is just like the lord of a city now that doesn't exist.
Oh,
and like
sweet baby boy.
yeah, so like this kid is just now the head of a household because fucking the world blew up. So yeah, you do like kind of pick out various people who don't necessarily not belong here, but probably belong here purely based on the merit of like shit went bad.
We're in like the most important room in the world right now.
Yeah,
this is wild.
This is the most important room for Theodothus.
Sure.
Because like I'm sure there's a room on the fucking Shattered Immortal where the Empress is like chilling, and that's probably the most important room for them. But yeah, if this room were to
but
suddenly,
you said that like there are no more like monarchs anymore, right? Like the only one of the reigning monarchs left is the king, as far as everyone knows.
And
so like
this is also
within
the
Theodothus,
biggest. And this is also the. Go ahead.
The Jabroxus Empire is a different.
Is its own thing. Okay,
nation,
I understand.
Yeah.
And this is also because we're on a throne class ship right now,
Yes.
right? Like this is the
It's
biggest
the only
ship.
one.
It's the only one. The rest of them have archons, but this is the throne class ship.
Yeah. Theodothus is the only nation with a
Sick.
throne class ship. So you know some of the
that.
other nations are probably out there surviving on like archon ships, but the longevity of that is questionable. The throne ship probably is the best situation. And as you are all like kind of looking at this, and you do hear the discussion kind of turn to like food and
Resources.
sustainability and how to continue staying aloft. It takes massive amounts of arcane energy to hold this city aloft. And so how do we continue doing this? What's the fuel source? Like, how do we continue getting this? It's a magical crystal that is used, and while it doesn't get destroyed, it does get depleted. And so it's all these questions of like logistics. I think Burgundy, you're very like, oh yeah, taking like notes and stuff.
I have a weird question.
Yeah,
that
of course, please.
I think like if there's kind of just a general din that floats around and all that kind of stuff, Ember at one point would kind of just float out the idea of what would it be like if they tried to like harness the elemental chaos to fuel the ships.
As you go to speak, Nishuel puts his hand on your wrist and leans down to you. And then do you like tell him?
Yeah, I will be like, and then I'm like, oh fuck, there's weird hierarchy things here.
Yeah, he like nods at you and then he whispers really quietly. I know this is last minute, but technically a captain can't be houseless. It was a small thing, but you might have noticed when I introduced myself to Burgundy, I introduced myself as Mishwell Beldwin. I had to choose a name, and I technically am the head of my own house now, minor as it is. I need you to have a last name.
Like
The like conversation continues as Mishuel just kind of like side eyes you. he's like I will, like, you get the sense he will share your point, but he can't do it and give you credit without announcing you. And to announce you without a last name would be like super like would probably cause like a bit of a harumph.
And like we're orphans, we don't have last names.
No, you don't have last names.
Neither does Mishwell.
But you know
was
that
from
Mishwell,
the same orphanage.
Mishwell was also an orphan. Yeah,
I know.
You know that Mishwell just is like the head of a house, but it's like a tiny just him house. But because nobles are nobles and they hate it, they like make you take on a house.
Oh, fuck. Do we have to have the same last name?
As me?
I don't know. It's from the same house, right?
No. I mean, like, yeah, I could wrap you into my house, but that leads to some I mean, yeah, if you're...
No, I'll just give me a second. I'm gonna
Yeah.
try
You're doing great.
Oldbuck's a great last name.
You hear Shren. Sorry, who is?
Somebody say, I heard somebody back there.
Oh God, I'm so put on the spot. Someone else do
Yeah.
something while I
As
can.
this
No,
is
but,
happening,
like, that's the thing is, it's happening real time. You are literally put on the spot. Like,
Yeah, wow.
as Faye's scrambling to find a last name, I am across the room. I'm just like slowly, just like gently making my way through the crowd until I'm next to the first architect. And I just kind of stop just on his left, and I am just like, I'm staring at his arm. Like I'm just staring at the absolute marvel of technology that is his arm.
As you get close, he steps forward.
It would behoove us very well
To ensure that the mechanical nature of this ship continues to run smoothly. And so I raise a question that may be a hard one for the convenience of our lives. The automatons need repairs and maintenance. We cannot spare the people to do so. They must ensure that the ship continues to fly. Those who are spending time maintaining and repairing droids will be not repairing and maintaining the ship.
I can. I'll repair the droids. I'll repair the automatons. I'll do it.
You watch as Michelle goes, "Oh."
I'll do it.
Yeah, Ember's just like,
Smoke has no sense of decorum or tact at all. I'll do it.
I'm not sure who you are, and that is all well and good, but one person cannot maintain all of the automatons. Who are you here with?
I point to Berg.
You can teach them to repair themselves.
Yeah.
He looks at you and he goes,
Thank you, Sentry, for weighing in as requested.
he looks at you, Berg, and he goes,
I suggest you are new here. I suggest you get your house in order. It is my proposition for the good of the Andolu that we deactivate and jettison the automatons, effective immediately.
I step forward before he's finished speaking and intimidate him.
Hell yeah. Get
what
it,
do you
Berg.
just like glare him down?
I hope we're almost the same height.
You're much taller. You're like a
Can
big
I-
belly orc.
Ugh.
Like,
Hell yeah.
Can I help? Wait, hold on. Am I proficient? I want to just...
you're just like, and you just like let out steam.
I am. I'm proficient in intimidation. Can I stand behind Berg? Just like as a sort of a united intimidation.
I go stand by Berg too. I'm not scary, but I look at
okay, you can make an intimidation check at
This
advantage.
is my nightmare.
I don't care.
It's so good.
You see so many raised eyebrows.
I came up with a last name, if that
I'm
matters.
so proud of you.
At this point, Michelle is like completely distracted from I think he's forgotten what you told him, and he's just like staring, shocked at what's happening right now.
So the part of his conversation where he says, "You're new here, so you should get your shit together." That's
Yeah.
the part where I'm going to start stepping forward, so he can finish the sentence out, but I'm going to be ending in his face. Everyone who is new here has survived the calamity, and we bring hope and action, and we together will make these decisions as a group, and your input is taken under advisement, but is not law.
Mate, what's your intimidation?
It's a dirty 20, baby.
Hey yo!
He steps back and he's like, "This is unacceptable. I
You
am
can
a
file
lord."
a complaint.
And you hear, "You are a lord of nothing, Lord Onephrin. We are all lords of nothing." And you see King Empress.
Hot.
You've been given a unique opportunity to start over. I suggest you don't begin with genocide.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to look around to my group to be like, you guys should just stand fucking down a little smidge.
It would seem there is much to discuss. Lord Anephren, like the representative from Viadothus says, your words are taken under advisement.
I'm so turned on by this king right now.
He looks at... You're not making an attempt to be robotic, are you, Onyx?
No.
Yeah, he looks at you, Onyx, and he goes, but as king, my duty is to all of my people. And he, like, really puts weight on that. And a few people are like, and he, like, looks straight at you, Onyx. It would seem that there was not just one world-shattering event today. How many of you?
Unknown.
That you know of?
2.
At least 22.
22? Well, sorry, you say 2, you say 22.
Wait, were there
No, you
I'm
know
just
that
forgetting.
2 are sentient. Like, you and Daisy
Oh.
are the 2 that have, like, broken free of the mold, and the others were just aboard the ships. 2. Well, I'm sure that will change in time. It is... And I thought my plate was already full. Well... I assume you have a name?
Onyx.
Well... Onyx. You see, he's just like processing this. It's like so much. Onyx.
Is he surprised?
Yeah, big time. Like, you get a sense everyone's fucking blown away by this. He's just handling it well.
I'm standing like
He's that well adjusted.
he's well adjusted, very rich.
Doing
human.
great.
He's got the privilege of having time to think about things. I am gonna stand basically right, like if it's like Berg and then Onyx kind of standing up front talking to the king. I'm right behind Onyx.
He steps up to Onyx, puts a hand on Onyx, a big hand. He's a big dude. He's an Efreet. Like, he is
You know what they say.
big. Yeah. Puts,
Gloves, big gloves.
Big gloves,
Okay.
big gloves.
puts a
Gloves.
hand.
Probably fireproof because he's not a Genasi.
Puts a hand on Onyx's shoulder. And in a presentory voice, it is within my power, as last surviving crown of the Tetrad Monarchy, and none can question this choice I make now. As King of the Eastern Realms, Lord of Eastfall, Keeper of the Eternal Flame, and last crown of the Tetrad Monarchy, Onyx, I name you Warforged. You now represent your people, the House Warforged. Kneel.
Yeah, absolutely. Onyx would immediately take their rifle off their back.
Oh, you don't. Sorry, I probably should have specified.
Oh, I don't
None
have
of
it?
you have weapons.
Okay, I was gonna say if I
None
knew
of
that
you
it
have
was-
weapons in
He's
this
always
room.
got
I
weapons,
got one
motherfucker.
somewhere.
Yeah. Shren, you got like you keysed a knife or something, but no one else.
I'm just wearing like a really cool looking back harness.
Really
That's
cool
all.
back
It could
harness.
be for my spine.
I just
Who
have
knows?
hands that exist.
Yeah,
So.
that's true. Yeah.
Then
Actually, most of you don't have weapons anyway.
Mhm.
But like Smoke, your pistol's taken. Shren, like
Rude.
Yeah.
your
Oh
like
no, my whip got
visible
left
knives.
outside.
Yeah, your
What
whip's
a
gotten
nightmare.
taken, and Onyx, your rifle.
These are
is
me
full.
going
Yeah.
out, Nodge. You can have these ones.
then I think you would see Onyx then kneeling without a rifle. It would look, I think, sort of like robotic, like onto their like one knee, but it would turn into almost like you would go onto both knees and like sit and relax and sort of like remember the feeling of like sitting surrounded by nature and like allowed to be themselves and just sort of exist.
You feel a rush. Everyone does. It's sudden and explosive. A rush of warmth as he outstretches a hand, and a massive sword comes into being of magma and flame.
Damn.
And he, by the 4 crowns of Eodothis, I anoint you Onyx Warforged, speaker of House Warforged. This house is sworn to me. And he looks at you as if to be like, right?
Yes.
Mishwell leans over. I swear.
I swear.
Oh.
And is thus under my protection. The entire House Warforged. None can impugn upon them without my say-so. And you see Lord Ephron kind of fucking balks at this. He's just like, oh, dang, I got put in my place.
I'm like, oh, pretty rough, huh?
Arm wasn't that cool anyway.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. Now that I'm looking at it, it's not even that good.
It's not even that cool.
It's not even that
Rise, speaker, and take your place upon this council.
Onyx would stand proudly, no longer robotic or pretending.
As the king turns to go back to his like spot at the front of the council, Smoke, you hear very quietly in Primordial, maybe a little more decorum.
Was that from the king?
And he strides. Like, anyone watching, maybe Shren clocks it, but anyone watching would not have noticed. It was like
And
a real
to him
sight of the
back,
mouth.
I would just say, never.
You all see the king chuckle seemingly out of nowhere and go to the front of the table.
Yeah, no, absolutely never.
He looks at
Absolutely
Michelle
not.
and he says, well, before all that, it seemed like your aide-de-camp had something to say. Is it Captain...
Utai. Captain Ember Utai.
Captain Ember Utai. Well, I would hear what you would have to say.
Well, I really, I'm not a mechanic, so and I'm not a magician, so I don't know kind of the inner workings of everything that's going on here. But if we're having a lack of energy or a concern about a lack of energy, I just thought that considering there is a surplus of it in the atmosphere from the elemental chaos, that potentially there was some way of harnessing that.
Lord Ephron, Lord Seizu, you have thoughts on this?
Also, very intense eye contact during that.
Yeah.
Also, thank you, folks from the compound, for a raid. Thank you so much. Welcome on in.
You see, Ephron is still a little flustered, and he kind of stammers, and he's like, I mean, that's theoretical. And you see a kind of very androgynous forward, and they're
Oh, you're
Oh,
sorry.
Oh, we're missing you. We're
Yeah,
missing
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Try
yeah.
again.
They're
Try
also
again. Try
super
again.
hot.
Okay,
We
I
were
got
There's a lot of hot people in this
We
room.
heard-
Okay.
Androgynous, and we're all like,
Yeah.
nice.
an androgynous water genasi
Yeah.
kind
Hot.
of slide forward, and you see a lot of water genasi have like bluish coloration, and some of them look kind of damp sometimes because of their nature as genasi, or like their hair looks like it's underwater.
Also, thank you, Swole Initiative Network, for the raid. Thank you so much,
Hello,
folks.
welcome
Welcome on
in.
in.
If you're coming in and raiding, make sure to refresh that chat because it
And
means
And
all
also,
for you
press that
counts.
beautiful little follow button. So happy to have you here, folks.
And you see
Not normally blue, not damp looking. That's where your train of thought was.
this
It's a dry
genasi,
yellow person.
this genasi's like wateriness, as gross as it sounds, it's not like in a gross way, but it's a bit more viscous.
Is this snot genasi?
It's
Is that where we're going?
Like an ooze?
little oozy.
Did you make an ooze genasi just for
And
me?
the-
Because you know I love them.
The Lord Seizu kind of. I will talk to my elementalists. We shall explore this avenue. Yes. And they leave. The king goes, Lord Seizu. Fine. Well, Captain, it seems your suggestion has at least some merit and will be explored. He looks at you and you see that, like, this glimmer in his eyes. He is deeply discerning. And he looks at your lapel. And you kind of self-conscious look down and you see the scruff of where your old pin was, and that Mishwell had missed it putting the captain's pin on just a little to the side. And so there's this like noticeable tear. Welcome aboard. It's good to have you.
Thank you, King.
Well, I was going to... Actually, honestly, this has worked out for the best. Thank you, lords and ladies, for your time. There's much to discuss, and we will hold council meetings as this every week. If you have grievances or concerns, do not hesitate to bring them to my attention. Speaker Onyx, Captain Ember, Lady Burgundy, you. And he looks at you, Smoke.
Name's Smoke.
What was the name you gave, Shren, again?
It was Tarvin Youngdo.
Is there a Tarvin amongst you? I'm assuming you managed to get your members in.
Yes. Yeah.
You may stay. Everyone else leave. And you watch as the most important people of this realm file out at the king's command, and you are left standing, and you watch as Mishwell like heads for the door, uncertain, and the king nods, showing that they should vacate.
Get out.
Bye.
Just the important ones.
I'm so stressed out.
I pull out a bottle and put it on the ground. What are we gonna do next? It's weighted though. It's weighted, so it always points at me like, "Oh, it's me again!" No.
As everyone's
no.
leaving, I'm gonna walk over to Onyx, and I'm just gonna lean in next to them. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. A lot's happened today.
They know who you are now. You don't have to hide anymore.
They'll be able to know all of us.
I'm gonna look after you, okay? You know that, right?
Ember's gonna like nudge Smoke.
As touching as this is, there
Oh my
is time for that. There were safeties put into place. Some ships sent to cities. Fortunately, most made it. I believe, when he kind of looks down at a note before him, I believe Captain Ember, you were upon the Eltheria, which was designated to Demetros.
I was.
It is a shame about Lord Edenog. It's always a shame for someone to die so young. The ships weren't the only safety net we put in place. Vaults built to withstand immense calamity were built, and those who could not escape via ship were sealed within these vaults. It is our hope that they have survived this, and we will be sending out crews to investigate. But it seems I already have one in front of me. Crew of the Chimera, correct?
Yep.
Well, you all now have additional duties, I'm sure. But I would ask a favor.
Anything.
Go on, Your Majesty.
There is a chance that some of the members of the other Tetrad houses survived. Within these bunkers. And I offer you a choice. We will be sending ships out to all of the cities. But you have a choice between the 4 houses of the crown. Eastfall is obviously would be personal stake for me, my family. Well, some relatives of mine may be in the vault in Eastfall. South Hall is home to the House Mataris, and you may find relatives of Queen Maria. Westron. Westron. House Raphael, sorry. I know how to pronounce my own stuff. Shut up. Where we hope members of Queen Riha's family survives. And Northrest. Northrest, possibly the most secure, built into the mountain. We hope that remnants of House Talav perhaps exist there. Via Deathis is not designed to be a single monarchy. We rule as 4. Any surviving heir to those houses must be brought forth so that we may do so again. Which city would you like to seek out so that I know to send the ships elsewhere.
I'd like to history check on, do I have an idea of strategically where the most, imaginative minds are? The thinkers, the creators.
You know that White Steeple is where the fucking real genius folk are. You also know Bellwether is the home of House Seizu, which is the weird oozy person who is and they're really into elemental experimentation. Bellwether is in the southern realm near Southall, and White Steeple is in the eastern realms near Eastfall. But you know that both representing lords of those two houses are present and accounted for.
Ember's gonna look at the king and say, I'm assuming we're only looking for, shall I say, legitimate heirs. And there's definitely a bit, obviously, there's a bit of a knowledge of any Genasi that exists is probably in some way related.
Some way to a noble house.
And
yeah,
so
absolutely. Roll, he's gonna insight you, and you roll a check to determine what the DC is.
Okay.
And you get to determine, are you persuading, are you deceiving?
Okay. What am I good at? I will do persuasion because I am good at persuasion. And that is a 21.
Hoo-hoo!
Okay.
I like to think that Ember has seen obviously kind of how everyone has acted around the king, and is in an attempt not to be disrespectful, but to be very I'm not intimidated by your position, is very much so taking a position of confidence.
Yes, we love to see it.
Yeah, this kind of catches his attention. For now, yes. That may change as we continue down this road.
Right.
If you need time to think on this, I can give you an hour at most. If you wish to discuss this as a crew.
Probably best for us just to get our bearings.
Of course.
We get a bit of decorum,
Of course. You may leave at your leisure. Captain Ember, a moment, please.
Oh, fuck.
You got this.
I shoot Ember a look.
Come on.
Are you okay?
I hustle everyone else out of their room.
Good luck.
I don't need hustling. I'm already outside.
Back to the book.
See if he's got a sister. Just.
If you have. Actually, I'm gonna have everyone remove their headphones for me.
You would.
No, I want to know. I want to
Yeah, bro.
listen.
Just type it out. I'll read it myself.
Oh, God.
If you have any prudent information that you would like to share about lineages, I'd be deeply appreciative.
Well, didn't you say it didn't really matter if we were able to find people of more legitimate blood in these bunkers?
I wish not to talk around a point on a day such as this. So I will ask you outright. Is it your belief that you are a member of my family?
Oh, I haven't the slightest clue about myself. Never really a concern of mine. But I do know someone who is connected to one of the 4 houses. Not yours.
The mouthy one?
Maybe.
Well, Jishan was always a bit of a rogue.
Certainly one way of putting it. Leaving orphans scattered across the countryside. Although, I'm sure you'd know something about that. Sorry, that's out of turn.
He's like, I tolerate, to a degree, impudence.
It's my apologies.
Try not to step over that line. Thank you for sharing this with me. It is good information to have should things not work out. Go. Join your friends. And he turns and leaves, and everyone's going.
So, Adam,
And
because
for
I
the
live mix everything, you legally can't tell me to take my headphones out anymore. Just saying.
yeah, I did do a lot of like big banging
Yeah, I
noises
knew.
on Sirenscape. Yeah,
I knew. Lots of
it was
fireworks.
deafening. Everyone's very
The
upset.
pots and pans.
I actually
mix,
can't really hear you guys anymore, just so everyone knows.
yeah. And as Ember steps out from the council chambers for the second time in a row, after having a one-on-one earphones out, that's where we're gonna take our break.
Oh my god!
Wow, you would do that.
So we've been on this ship for like what, an hour? Like
something
we've
Yeah,
been,
basically.
cool.
I feel
The
like, has
world's-
it even been an hour?
The world's just ended and we've been on this ship for an hour and already Ember's having a one-on-one with the king.
Listen.
Okay.
A lot of people get
Listen.
promoted when the world ends.
Listen. Listen.
Go.
Okay, we are going to do a quick 10-minute break. Stick around, grab yourself a beverage, prepare yourself for the world ending, and we will be right back. Enjoy some art and some beautiful stuff from our first campaign. We love you guys. We'll see you in 10 minutes. Bye.
Bye.
hey guys, it's me, Adam, and I'm here to talk to you about the sponsor for tonight's episode, Legendcraft. Legendcraft is a Canadian woodworking company that makes D&D and tabletop gaming tables and accessories. They are a couple of passionate crafters that create items that will instantly become a highlight of any tabletop or RPG player's game night. An absolute favourite of mine is the Mountain King board gaming table. This table is bonkers cool, looking like it is straight out of a Dwarven King's Hall. It's really unlike anything I've ever seen. We feel really good about endorsing this Canadian business that brings so much passion into something we care so deeply about. So head over to their Instagram at legendcraft.ca to have a look at what they're making and let them know that Blackwater sent you. And if any of you fall in love with any of their amazing products, you can go to their website and use the promo code Blackwater for 5% off. It supports a Canadian business and also helps support our stream in this crazy D&D game we love. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of the show.
And welcome back.
We're back.
Let me
Take it away, Adam.
A little bit of music. This is sweeping. So as Ember steps out from the council hall, you all see each other. A lot has happened. You've allowed me to exposit for about an hour and a half. And so now the ship is yours. What would you all like to do?
What did he say, Ember?
Ember just...
What did he say?
A passing refugee is like, oh, jeez.
Why did he want to speak to you alone?
I
mean, you don't have to tell us. I just,
It was just information about my new position, a couple of questions about Captain Michelle, stuff like that.
And that had to be done in private.
Inner workings of the military are strange. Who are we to say what kings find of import? It's really nothing that affects anything that we'd be doing.
We'll see.
I'm gonna insight check that one. I'm gonna insight check my sister right there. Do I get advantage on that because she's my sister?
Because she's blushing, like.
Can I also try for an insight?
Yeah,
it's fine. The king and I were having intimate relations.
Yeah, you do see a really hot hickey on Ember's neck.
Cool.
Right. It's like a scorch mark.
Yeah, a little bit.
But he mentioned me probably a couple times, right?
So I got a 5. I know everything. Obviously.
22.
Oh, you definitely beat me. That's a 12 for me.
Okay.
That was a straight roll. I did not roll with advantage. I just rolled very well.
Well, what information what are you after here, Smoke?
I know my sister, and I know when she's hiding something from me. And for Smoke and Ember's almost their entirety of their lives together, there have been just unspoken things.
Yeah.
That Ember has kept from Smoke and Smoke has kept from Ember. And I think as up to this point, they just haven't. It's been a very much you got your shit, I've got my shit. And there's been a lot of crossover where Ember's dealt with things for Smoke or Smoke dealt with things for Ember, and we just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And we're now at the point where the world is ending.
Yep.
And Smoke is what? You can't just speak with a monarch.
If that is the case, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw for me.
A wisdom saving throw? I am decently wise. Okay.
What's happening?
Okay.
I'm trying to lock my mic so it doesn't keep turning itself down. It's really
18.
frustrating. 18. Okay. As you go to press Ember, because you get the sense Ember is holding things close to her chest. As you go to press Ember, there's a tickle in the back of your brain as you think about if I press her, she might press me. And whatever Ember did, what I did was worse. That kind of mentality. But you brush that feeling aside. An 18 passes as you kind of steel yourself, and you may press if you wish.
I just raise my eyebrows at Ember. You don't have to tell me,
Okay.
but you should. Because it's me. Later, maybe? I don't know.
Look, we've got a lot more pressing situations at hand. Apparently, we're being appointed to go try and rescue some stray monarchs, right? So, where does everyone think is the most important? That's the thing. That's the task at hand. We'll have
while we
plenty
decide,
of time during the end of the world to talk about any details later.
While we decide and discuss, Shren, if anyone can find a place for a drink, I assume it's you.
Yeah, just pull my finger to the air. And
Shren,
the nearest.
You hear this with half an ear as you
Shren's
hear
divine sense.
You hear Burger speaking with you, but you see Tilden is smiling at you from across the crowd. And you get the sense that a meeting is expected.
Yeah. I've got a friend. He's always got the best places to get a drink. Let me swing by his place. You all hang here tight, talk, discuss, figure out what we're going to do next. I'll make sure Mira's ready to go, and we'll meet at, it feels like there's a bar a little bit that way.
Okay. You watch as Shren kind of pushes forward through the crowd, and a skill that Shren is very good at disappears within the crowd. We will cut to that later, but Ember, Berg, Onyx, and Smoke, what do you do?
Guess we gotta find a bar.
Wander that way.
We wander towards the vague bar that Shren went.
Okay. You wander in the general direction. So
Is
I
there
need
just
someone to make...
chaos happening around us
Yeah,
right now? Also,
absolutely.
It's just like people running through the streets and.
It's not like running. It's like organized chaos. So it's people being directed. You probably assume that had you not been sent because of Burgundy, if you hadn't have been like grabbed by the major and sent to the council, you probably would have been directed to a place to live, like temporary abode.
Right now.
It's all intake. It's like literally like every person who can is like helping people find the place that they need to be. You also get the sense that like somewhat due to your influence, more people survived, at least from Diametros, than was expected, because the people that they expected to survive from Diametros were aboard the Eltheria. And you managed to get like 60 other ships in the air. So there are a lot of people here, and it's bedlam. It's controlled chaos, because it's not just people being like running around, but it's bustly. It's hard to get through. You can see like people are going specific locations. Berg, you know in your heart of hearts, you're not a stickler per se, but you know that like the chances of there being a bar that is open and running right now, an hour after the world's end, is zero. Like, as an Australian expression, Buckley's to none. Which is, it's a fun story. You should look it up. Buckley's. Anywho, you get a sense that there is no shot that there would be a bar open. But you do see people like officials running around with notepads and making sure people go. So you could probably figure out where your like appointment is.
I'll work on that while everyone else isn't even looking. So another quick, admin check-in between me and another coordinator type, where we quickly do our thing before anyone notices.
No, absolutely. So you touch base. Sorry, what was your name?
Lady Burgundy. I have some extremely
yes, it says you
fortunate
are.
companions.
It says you are in the Etenog wing. It's strange. He like looks at you and kind of takes measure and sees the like a fellow administrator, and he shows you your entry, where it says the Lady Burgundy, provisionally Etenog, which is the lord of the like deceased lord of Viadothus. Oh, sorry, not Viadothus. Diametros. You see that they have just like in an act of like administrative like fuck, they've just provisionally made you a part of that household, and then they'll figure it out. Like they just needed someone in place. You were you were just the first surviving person down the rung, and they've just like slotted you in. And so you see this weird like you have a last name now, but it's provisional. It's like this like this can change in the future. We're just doing this now as like a temporary stopgap. We just needed this to work. But you see that you were appointed to the Etenog wing, which is like essentially like if the Andolu is a city, this is like a manor, like a townhouse. This is like a nice spot because you are the representative of Diametros. You are nobility at this point, or like more or less. It's weird. You look at the like bylaws. I think in your like spare time you're like looking at the bylaws. It's so complex. You get like lost in the source for about 10 minutes as you read the like various inheritance law. What they're doing right now isn't how it works. You haven't inherited the house. You're not inheriting like the like ladyship of Diametros. You just get the sense that they were like, we need someone who can speak for all of these people, especially now that we have like 1,000 extra of them. We just need someone who is their like leader. And they've just like pushed you there. And so, yeah, a benefit from that is you get fucking dope ass housing. You then also kind of like look through, this guy just like acquiesces his list to you. You look through. Onyx is not on this list. Obviously, word hasn't reached the officials of the big change. But
I
you
will
see
bonus action summon a tiny quill as part of my,
amazing. Yes. Oh, also, I probably should have mentioned this, but everyone leveled up twice. We've done that.
Yes.
In the week between last episode and now. We'll probably talk about, the mechanics of that probably next week when we get into more like combat-y stuff, because we're doing some role playing right now. But yeah, I saw some questions in the chat where people were like, when are they supposed to level up a bunch? And I was like, yeah, they have. They've leveled up twice. We just didn't. We were going to do a year time skip. We're just not doing that right now, but we may. So you can take out your tiny quill with your wizardry.
Yes, I'm an Order of the Scribe wizard. So, and I'll obviously full title Speaker Onyx of the House Warforged. And if anyone else's titles are currently incorrect, I will annotate them.
You see Sergeant Ember.
And updating to Captain Ember Utai.
Yep. And you see the like housing probably should change because Ember has a like essentially like a sergeant's room. It's essentially just like a studio apartment kind of vibe. You see that Smoke is just like go to Barracks X.
I'll update everybody to be as close as is, appropriate.
So here's the thing. You have the Etenog house appointed to you. It is a multi-room ordeal. And
Berg's like, I don't want to share that.
It's true, yeah. But you by no means
the extra rooms are for books.
Like it is for all intents and purposes your house, and so you can can have people live there
assigning
if you wish.
Everybody to the house proper, including one Tarvin Yongdo. I'll assume I know how to spell it.
As you're like starting to make these changes, you
see a runner run through and hand a note to one of the officials and run through and hand a note to one of the officials and run through, and they've just got this like leaflet of notes, and you see all of the officials check it, make note, and as the runner runs past you, he goes to hand it to the dude, and the dude just like gestures to you, and the runner hands it to you. The note says adjustment to rank Sergeant Ember to Captain Ember Utai, and then it changes the appointment. Ember has a house, or like a relatively lush kind of 2-bedroom apartment kind of vibe, a nice spot. So you know that you have a couple of non-shared living spaces. Smoke is still in the list as just like go to barracks and be in barracks. Onyx isn't on the list, and neither is Shren. Like fully just like not a part of the system. And you get this, like, you see a note where it's like non-personnel report to like mustering station J23, kind of that vibe. And so you get the sense that Shren probably would just get sent to.
So if I would like to make it official that they all are with me.
Okay.
So whatever, I'll just
you add them to essentially your
document.
retinue, and the runner, as he hands you the note, looks at the adjustments and goes. And you like magically scribe a new like wad of paper, and he goes, starts running and handing it out, running and handing it out, running and handing it out.
Doing the king's
Disappear into the crowd.
The king's
work.
Amazing. So yeah, you have a small estate and a small, like a relatively nice abode for Ember as well. And this is like taken some time. This is about like 25 minutes later, and you like Smoke, Ember, and Onyx. You've all had this like little conversation, and then just stopped and looked at Berg as Berg is like just
furiously
notes
scribbling.
in book. Yeah, and you've just been like,
Well, while Berg is doing all that, should we decide where we're gonna go? Maybe where's gonna be best for us to go? I don't know much about the houses. I mean, I am in Air Genasi, but I don't know anything about them.
Well, the Air Genasi, I think, are in Western.
correct.
And I think Talave is the Earth one. Is that right?
Alive, yeah.
Yeah, I know lore things. But I mean, to be honest, does it matter which noble family we go to first? That's all kind of the same to me.
You also get the sense that this isn't just like the noble families are in these vaults. It's like the
Other
people
people.
who couldn't get out of the city.
Right.
The hope is that amongst those people
Right.
are members of this family. Like that is the hope.
But we won't
They
be
did-
rescuing those people.
No,
Or-
you so
job is
We'd
just-
be checking the vault for civilization, correct?
you'll
Is
be
like-
checking for signs of life and then reporting back, and then
I thought we were doing like snatch and grab of
a rescue
nobles.
mission, basically. would
yeah.
happen.
So because you're on a kestrel and like he's aware that you're on a kestrel,
Right.
you are basically like checking for like checking for life signs, and then a regent class would be sent out.
They did mention that, or the king mentioned, I suppose, that Northrest is the most secure of the vaults. So I would think that that's probably the one that we don't need to go to. We'd want to go to something that's a little bit more uncertain, right?
Check that one last.
That makes sense. And maybe it would make sense too. He said that the monarchy was supposed to be ruled as a tetrad. And of course it would be wonderful to find members of his family, but I can imagine that finding another member of another family would probably be good for balance. I don't know.
I think it would probably serve the country the best. Although, I mean, if we want to be more in the king's good graces, of course, we would go after his own family.
Who wants to be more in the king's good graces? Everyone?
You also get, I think, like, reading between the lines, Ember, when he was talking about going to Eastfall, you get the sense that maybe they rushed Embers out onto the Andolu, and that perhaps having an heir, like, if he has to rule alone, that is a unfortunate burden. But if something happens to him, you get the sense he's the last of the Lasser family on this ship, and so that, like, my family,
Then
like,
we'd
kind of
have
brushes it
no-
off.
yeah.
But you get the sense that he was like, but if I die, I'm hoping
That's
I
it.
have family members in there so that, like,
Yeah.
this can continue. We do, like, shifting from a monarchy to not a monarchy is bedlam at the best of times. Like, you get the sense if the monarchy falls, Viadethis does. Like,
Which one's the closest one to us?
so the conveniently,
They're all equidistant because Adam doesn't want to help us make
well,
decisions.
Astaris was purposefully built at the center of the realms, but they couldn't quite perfect it. West Hall is the furthest. West Run is the furthest. Wait, where are my notes? Oh no. Yeah, West Run is the furthest. South Hall and Eastfall are actually quite close to each other. Just like kind of a quirk of the geography of the country. With Eastfall being further away. So South Hall is probably the closest, followed by Northrest. Northrest is like the second closest. But like,
They're all
this is
relatively comparable.
Relatively close, yeah.
And what's the timing on the journey? How long would it take us by casting?
Probably the better part of 2 days for
that's not
any of
bad.
the cities, yeah.
1 year.
On a Kestrel. On a, like,
Yeah.
each ship has a different kind of, like, speed. On a Kestrels are really fast. They're built. They're F-18s. They're built to go place and go place fast. That's why they're predominantly used. Like, if you're a smuggler and you don't have a Kestrel, you're bad at your job.
Not that I'm a
It's like,
smuggler.
why be on a throne class ship when it's just fucking slower?
Today the king did something that put me in his debt. Maybe I should
You want-
repay that faster.
I mean, he did say that they were going to send ships out to the other ones. It's really just a matter of which one we want to handle. So if you feel more of an attachment to the king, we can go there. Otherwise, South Hall's the closest to us. So
No, what he's done today is maybe made it possible for my people to have a life outside of service. So don't
I
hate
trust
the
your
idea.
judgment. I trust your judgment.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, name's Onyx, hey, Tin Man?
Yeah, it's been that way for a while.
Good to know.
He let it slip one time while I was fixing him up. They self-referred as Onyx, and I was like, what's that? So,
I mean,
It's pretty rock.
it's important to have friends, and I couldn't think of a better one.
oh, you stop. I think going after the king's, potentially the king's family is a good plan if that's what you think, Onyx. So, that seems fair.
I mean, I think if they're sending people other places, might as well.
Well,
Might as well curry favor, I suppose.
Might as well do the thing that's going to benefit us all the most, right?
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
Excuse me.
No.
You look back and you see a towering figure, massive gray-green skin, quite recent awful burns that look like flame has erupted from their mouths and eyes, but their eyes still seem intact and they like look recently burnt, but they're just carrying on. Corner of their mouth, a thick stub cigar. I'm looking for Shren Oldbuck. If I recognize you folks from Demetra, so from the Goldburn Skyport, and you will recognize the chef.
Chef.
I do.
Hey, Chef.
Howdy.
Yeah, he was around, but I haven't seen him in a bit. Can I let him know where to find you?
Yeah, I was just going to tell him I probably don't need his services anymore, given, well, the state of everything. Well, maybe I need him more. Who knows? We'll see. We'll play it by ear.
Are you employed currently, sir?
I don't know. The world ended, so...
I could definitely use your services.
Let me get back to you on that.
And I will give him the directions to the very fancy estate.
Absolutely.
Personal.
You see on
Gotta
his
find us
back.
again.
You see on his back a 9-foot sword. It's like a fucking
Yeah.
buster sword, and you see it is like charred and chipped, like it's hit rock. You get the sense that Chef fought his way out.
Also, Fenice Starlight.
Hello,
thank you, my
Fenice
dear.
Starlight,
Welcome for the
welcome
raid.
in.
Thank you.
There was time in my life where I like to kind of travel the world and find my adventures. And then I settled down, and an adventure found me. Maybe I'm done settling down for the time being. We'll see. But your offer is a kindly one, and I will give it all due thought.
You know, we'll take both kinds of services, whether it's in the kitchen or with your blade.
I appreciate that.
Find us again, friend. It's
I
good to see
will.
you.
Good to see you, Burke. And thanks for all those times, you know. Man's gotta have little joys in life. I appreciate you turning a blind eye.
And he just like, you watch as the crowd kind of parts around him as this massive presence just rolls through the crowd, and everyone's like,
I
oh my
love
god,
him.
fucking
He's
hell.
perfect.
He's like
perfect,
8
never
foot tall.
change. He's perfect, never change.
But yeah, you see he's like burn up his face. And yeah, you are left to your own devices, and we're gonna cut to Shren. We gotta do Shren's song. Shren,
Let me turn it up a little.
you kind of dip through the crowd, weave through, following Tilden Swan. Until finally you reach a room with casks and bar stools and a bar. It seems like it's not open yet, but seems to be, maybe the front of a criminal organization. You see Brenner Red. Well, if it ain't Shren Oldbuck.
If it ain't.
I should have known a slippery eel such as yourself would survive all of this.
Yeah, I'm good at skipping out of big events, eh?
You're good at skipping out on debt. And just because the world's ending don't mean I forgive it.
To be fair, most of the places that I owed you money from are now destroyed.
But I'm not, and you owe me money. What was it again? 15, 20,000 gold?
What's 7, 8 amongst friends, huh? It was 8,000 something it was.
Let's say, because I'm feeling generous, call it 12.
All right.
If
But-
you tell me what you thought about the council.
First off, that king, he's too trustworthy, right? So much to gain.
he's a fine piece of ass is what he is.
Yeah, you ain't wrong. Wonder what he's doing right. Anyway, I don't buy it. He's genuine, sure, yeah, but whenever big things like this happen, it tends to be the guy that gains the most, but has the most to hide.
That's a fair point. From all accounts, King Ambrose is pinnacle of trustworthiness. But I appreciate your candor. Tell me, the exchange is interested in maintaining the status quo. Ain't no need to have things run off and be different just because the world's ended. Now isn't the time to break from the old mold. Which is why I'm reminding you of your debts to the exchange. And why I'll be calling on you now and then to ensure that debt is paid off. Because Shren can't run from me anymore.
I guess you got me then, huh?
So for the time being, I need everyone to remove their headphones except for Bam. There's a lot of secrets.
Secrets.
Very important. I'm struggling. For the time being, I own you. You will keep me abridged of everything that goes on. And should I ask you to jump, well, it's a long way to fall. Understand?
You say jump, I say on who.
That's why I like you, Shren. Why I don't like you is because you owe me 12,000 gold.
What's 10,000 amongst friends, huh?
If I need it, you'll kill for me. Understood?
Life's carry heavy prices.
Agreed. Now go back to your friends. Ensure them everything's all right. Tell them you're meeting with an old friend. I don't know, whatever lie you want to tell. But do not tell them of our little agreement.
You got it, Red.
And
you got any walking around money?
The pair on you, Shren. The pair on you. Get the fuck out of my sight before I absolutely... Come on, get out of here. Have this.
Always leaving wanting more.
You as you make her laugh, she gestures to Tilden, and Tilden hands you like a bottle of like nice old whiskey. As you're walking around, money. Take it and go. Best I offer. And you leave, and we can have everyone put their headphones back on.
Don't have to ask me twice to put them back in. Sheesh.
Twice in one session, Adam, you madman.
Madman.
A web of secrets we weave.
Well, listen, everyone provided me with excellent secrets, so I'm just living up to it. Shren, you leave, and you see the crowd kind of bustling and pushing to and fro. And you see a little, like, maybe 14, 15-year-old human, maybe half-elf. It's kind of hard to tell. Their ears are a little scorched. And they run up to you and they hand you a note. And it shows, hello, Madbird Streams, welcome for the raid.
Welcome, Madbirds, caca.
It is like directions of how to get to apparently your new house. And apparently you've been made retinue of Lady Berg Etanog, which is
about time.
exactly. And so you all kind of come together at the house. It's weird. You're on an airship. It's hard to sometimes when you're walking through the Andolu, it's hard to like realize that, because as you approach your house, you see a little manor, maybe 4 bedrooms, with a lovely little garden out front and a wrought iron fence with like a hedge arch leading in, and 2 guards posted out front.
Crossed for books. Fingers crossed.
Dressed in Steam Guard outfit, and as you approach, they stand to attention. And as Ember, you walk past, they salute you. Well, I think it would be more of it's like a fantasy salute.
Yeah.
And
just like a weird
as you all kind of approach this house, you see Shren kind of bandy over. Having essentially his meeting took as long as it took Berg to figure out the like nuances of the new law of like what her inheritance is, and you all reconvene at this manor, which is referred to in the papers as Etanog Hall, but it's up to you what you want to name this place.
Not that.
And you see the guards nod and let you in and shut the door and continue guarding your front door. As you find yourselves in the mezzanine of a quite lovely house, and you kind of explore a little bit. Again, it's 4 bedrooms. There's a master bedroom, which is beautifully appointed with a little sitting room attached to it. And then 2 smaller bedrooms that you assume would be for like children or like teenagers growing up, and then one which very much looks like a guest bedroom. And yeah, you find yourselves kind of, after exploring for a bit, you find yourselves in a dining hall with a lovely long mahogany table, all sitting around it. And Shren, do you hide away the thing that you left with, or?
Yeah.
Okay. You see that there is
You can't make
quite
us
nice
take out
like
headphones and be like, "Hey, you know that secret thing that
You
you guys
remember
don't
the
know
thing
about?
we
Do you have it?"
Remember those secrets? Do you have the secrets, Adam? And
You
You still know your secrets?
Do you know
You
your
find
I
a
don't even know
little.
what he's talking about. I don't even know.
You find a
You
little
have
wine
fun?
cabinet. You were looking for a bar. You find a little wine cabinet, and there seems to be just like a hodgepodge of various nice wines that have been put in here, almost like someone was like, a lord is gonna live here, but I don't know their taste, so like, just like guesswork. And Berg, you do find a small, probably better to refer to it as a sitting room, has a small fireplace, and a large number of bookshelves that are all filled. And again, looking around, it's like what a movie set library would look like, where it's just like popular books, the old books, like basically just like not knowing this specific taste of a person. It's just like the most generic of stuff. You may need to work on this collection to get like the stuff that you're looking for. So you are in this house. What would you all like to do?
I pour everybody a drink.
Wine?
Of wine, yes.
I'll prepare to make a toast if everyone is together.
Everyone is together.
Is Daisy with us?
No, you haven't been able to track down Daisy. In the hustle and bustle, you just kind of got here. And honestly, I think Smoke at this point, you're like, oh, where's Daisy? Like that, like realization.
Oh, gosh, Daisy.
And you get the sense that with the King's decree, Daisy isn't in any immediate danger. You assume that as Berg, you kind of come to this conclusion. The survivors of Diametros were more numerous than expected. before you add in the automatons, now known as the Warforged. The Warforged don't necessarily sleep, and so despite the King's decree, you get the sense that people are probably going to continue storing Warforged rather than housing a Warforged, because they barely have the space to house the people that the organic people. And so being told that there is now like another 400 people that require housing, they're just like, I can't deal with that right now. Let's just kind of ignore that decree to that extent. Let's house them. So you get the sense that Daisy's probably going to end up in a golem yard somewhere.
Okay.
Like relatively easy to track down.
Knowing that, I would kind of store that information away to make sure that I went and got them at some point.
Absolutely.
I'm not leaving Daisy there. I would raise my glass if Berg's making a toast.
Can I have one?
Yeah, I'm just kind of staring at you like with 3 different bottles. Like, do you drink?
Riesling, Merlot.
Red, white, rosé. I can mix them.
Never have. Don't need to, but
your first drink? Hold on.
Yeah.
And I kind of like look around and I reach into my pocket and I pull out the finest drink that I've been gifted.
Yeah, you see Are you showing this to the table?
Yes.
Yeah, so you see it's like a bottle, like it's a full. You see Berg, you recognize it as being someone who's like maybe a little fancier. Smoke and Ember, you know what this drink is, but like you can't discern the like fanciness of it. But Berg, you see Shren produce a rather expensive bottle of whiskey, like an old bottle of whiskey, and he pops the cork.
I mean, it seems like we're having a moment, right? His first drink, all kinds of promotions galore. Come on, just pour a drink for everybody.
Okay.
Onyx.
You each get a stipple of very, very smooth whiskey. No trace of peat, like real smooth, hot, like, yeah.
Spicy.
Thank you, friend.
You got it.
Okay. You all hold your glasses up. Would anyone like to say anything?
Hello, survivors, heroes, new voices, old friends. This is the start of the end. And together, we are going to embark on a very dangerous journey. And some of it, I mean, literally with your weapons and minds. And some of it political here in the city. And that will be just as dangerous. And it won't stop. Ever. And so we face it together.
Really know how to lighten the mood, Berg.
She gives a good toast, I'll give her that.
And I just shoot it.
Join me. She'll slam hers.
Cody, you're holding a candle. Please don't drink it.
No, I'm not gonna.
This isn't like drink your paint water situation, okay?
I wasn't imagining just
obviously,
wax.
she'd also let anybody else if they had something to say that was less Berg intense.
Looking around the table, you see kind of you get the sense that everyone's like, nah, I don't want to follow that. Like, no, drink, everyone drink. And you all share a drink.
Did we have to be back to the king shortly?
We do have probably about another, I would say, 10 minutes?
As you say this, you hear on the door.
Yeah.
I'll go answer it. As Berg's assistant, I will go open the door.
You see a familiar face. Lass, I was told I'd find you here.
Is it
You
Pewter?
see the burly, grey-skinned stone Genasi, Pewter.
I just jump. I just
He
surround
hugs you.
his midsection.
Decorum!
Why, Berg? It's just pewter.
Berg, I'm here as a friend, not as... I was told this is where I could find you.
Ember's
Always.
gonna come up and kind of do like one of the, like a hug, but like a clap on the back type of a deal.
He reciprocates it in the exact not huggy way.
It's good to see you. I'm glad you made it.
So am I. I was lucky enough to be working on a ship that was in the air at the time, so
Yeah.
I got
That's
lucky.
good. That's really good.
A lot of my folks didn't.
Yeah.
A lot of good friends.
Yeah.
But I've come to see you, Smoke.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. What can
Well-
I help with?
So I'm not one to capitalize on disaster, but I would be foolish to think that mechanics aren't going to be highly sought after.
I'm
And
not
this-
going back to the military if that's what you're asking.
Nor am I, lass.
Okay.
I've cleared it. Fuck, I'm going Irish. I've cleared it. Wait.
From a
I love it.
DM,
Keep going.
I
You're doing
feel
You
great.
it
change
so
your
hard.
fate. This is, I gotta get
Would you?
Would you?
I cleared it with the Guild's collective. And I'd ask you to join me in the Mechanics Guild.
Is it all like equal? It's like on the level? I'm not in for the hierarchical bullshit anymore, Pewter.
I get that. I'll be running it.
Okay. Well,
but
you're
yeah,
all right.
more or less.
And
It'll be equal.
and if I'm joining the guild, I'm gonna do my own thing.
I'd no expect anything less.
And I know I look back at the group and I meant what I said. I know you weren't there, but the Warforged are gonna need someone to look after them.
I heard.
And
It's he looks at Onyx.
I give him a nod.
they're gonna need someone to fix them up and make sure that they're treated the way that they should be treated.
Well, as Guild Master of the Mechanics Guild, I get to see what, and he looks at Onyx, and who we provide services for. Any friend of yours, Smoke?
All of the Warforged can come get services. If I'm part of this guild, then I'm going to be my main priority is them.
I will say, Smoke. My invitation does come with a little caveat.
There's always a catch. What is it?
No random doohickeys in this ship, please.
Peter, I can't promise you that.
I thought
Look,
that'd be
what
your
if we?
answer.
Okay. What if we?
He gives you a hug. He just pulls you into a hug.
I promise I'll put no doohickeys in the ships that you'll know about. Put it
No,
that way.
I'm not saying the ships. I'm saying the ship, and he gestures around. He's
you
like,
mean the Andolu?
yeah, please, we will be tried and executed if something were.
Yeah, but
Fuck to it.
you know that
No.
if they're gonna need someone to work on the ship because
Mhm.
they've run out of ideas, that I'm gonna be the right person for that. You know that, right?
I couldn't agree more, but let them ask you first.
Right. So don't
Don't do it
soup
without
up the
permission.
ship
No.
unless you get
This is not-
asked first.
Yes, this is not a ship to zoop up.
But it could be.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Right?
Probably.
I mean, anytime Smoke works on something, it comes out better.
I take exception to that because listen. I agree to an extent, except for the there's been a couple ships, and you will agree with me, Smoke. There's been a couple of ships where your little improvements didn't go so well.
Maybe like a small percentage, but statistically speaking, I'm doing great so far.
Crack a few eggs.
He's actually statistically quite favorably in her side.
He raises an eyebrow at you, Berg, and he's like, "Really? Of all people, I truly thought I'd have you on side." Right. He pokes you in the middle of the forehead, Smoke. The offer stands.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'm gonna need a fucking job, okay?
Aye,
Gosh.
you will. Maybe something of your own. Something you can call your own.
I want a shop. Do I get my own shop? Can I have a shop?
I don't know if I'm getting my own shop, so
Well, I should get a
in
shop.
time
So okay.
We'll see where the road leads us.
So my shop and then your shop. Got it. Okay, good.
Upgrades for the Chimera.
Guild master.
Yeah.
Right.
And we all know I'm the best mechanic here.
We all know that. He walks away. He waves over his shoulder as a 13-year-old girl runs up the alley.
Bye, Pewter. Bye.
Bye, kid. Runs up, looks at all of you. Looks at Shren. Looks at Berg. Looks at Onyx. And then kind of looks between Ember and Smoke and can't decide which of the Genasis is the noble person that should be living here. And so just takes a guess, and I'm going to roll.
Positive.
Also, thank you for the biddies and amities. Thank you, my friend.
Ember, you are dressed in more kind of stately affair. So
I do have a fancy pin.
The young girl looks at you and goes, His Grand Majesty, High King Embrus Lasser, first of his name, King of the Eastern Realms, Lord of Eastfall, Keeper of the Eternal Flame, and last surviving crown of the Tetrad Monarchy, has asked for your answer.
Do we need to give it in person, or are you just gonna go run across the city?
I have been instructed that I can receive it, but that it would be appreciated that you leave post-haste.
Well, I think we're about to head out to our ship, but you can tell the king that we're headed to check on his family.
I would.
In Eastfall. That's where we're
yes. And she curtsies to you, and she's my lady, and then starts running away from the house.
I look over at Ember and I curtsy.
My lady.
You get the sense, all of you get the sense that was just super unintentional racism, where she was basically just assuming that the Genasi was the person in power, because that's just kind of how the system has been for a very long time.
I really put on the sauce with this curtsy. It's
Ember pushes her over. Just stop. Well, seems
Do we get to have a rest first? Can I
doesn't really seem like we
bit?
have time.
I need a good 10 hours, you know me.
I forgot about Shren's.
We should
exactly 10 hours.
10 hours.
We should
His rest takes longer.
The king is gonna want us to be at our best to find his family.
You know that the flight will take 2.5
You
days.
can rest on the ship.
All right. Well. Okay. Let's go to the ship and we'll go. And if we can take turns sleeping in shifts on the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just to sleep through all the ships.
You just go
You're
into
gonna need to
hibernation.
help me fly your ship, Shren. I can't do it myself.
Of course you can. Can't.
Yeah, I know I
it's fine.
could. Okay. All right. So we
On my way out, I just want to update the name of my manor.
Okay. What's the name of your manor?
Oh.
We are gonna call it, and I'll let the team workshop it because Berg's a little intense, but she calls it the Hall of the Relentless Choir.
Holy shit!
Wow.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
It's a real hard RQ.
It's your house, man. I'm not
That's
gonna
sick,
tell
yeah.
you what you can
Dang.
name it.
You know for sure that the local kids will never approach this house because it's almost certainly haunted in their minds.
Oh yeah, we're now the spooky house on the hill.
Yeah, exactly.
As we're walking over to the Chimera, Smoke's just kind of like musing to herself. So I know that sometimes when people travel in groups and they, like Berg just named her house, and sometimes people name the groups that they travel with. I've never been a part of one of those groups, obviously. But I had a thought. If we had a name, all of us together as a group.
Go on.
You can hate it. It's kind of dumb, but so, sometimes when really bad things happen, people tend to focus on the really awful things that come out of tragedy. And there's been a lot of really awful things that have happened today, yesterday, but the really nice thing for me is that I've gotten to be with all of you. I usually spend a lot of time by myself in the shop or just with Ember, and Ember's great, don't get me wrong, but other people are nice too, and I think that they call that a silver lining. So I think we should call ourselves the Silver Linings.
It's a playbook. Yes, great.
Good.
I was waiting.
Sorry.
Good, solid name. We
I'm
were
so
all
sorry.
thinking.
I know.
It was the lowest hanging fruit, and it's
Absolutely.
No, I love it.
No,
I love
it's
it.
great. It's good. Okay, good. Yeah, I like
That's
being part of
That's a great name.
Thanks, Onyx.
Clasp a hand on your shoulder. You remember the world just lost the Iron Will. They could really use some silver linings. I think it's great, Smoke.
Thanks.
I think it's nice you didn't say something stupid like the Ferocious Five or something.
Just scratch
That's
that.
a great
Berg
name
is like,
too. That's a really good name too. It sounds very powerful. And Smoke
it's
just starts
stupid.
like
It's full of a bunch of jerks, and I hate it.
Smoke just starts musing off about all of the dumb ship names that A's ever seen, like in the shop that she's been working on, as we make our way back over to the Chimera.
Before you leave, are there any discussions that you want to have privately between two people or anything?
It's time to get these earphones out of our ears, bro. Anybody want any more secrets? Anybody want more secrets?
You get the
guys?
sense that this is probably like your last opportunity for like proper privacy for the next
sure.
couple of
Yeah.
days.
I didn't know if there
I'll
was
be
like
listening to
a
We all want to go
separate
talk to
room
Chef.
on the.
Yeah,
We all
everyone
wanna
is
one-on-one
going to
with
go
Chef.
to Chef. Amazing.
Yeah, I would say like when we get like to like wherever the Chimera is being
That'd be
held.
Dock I-93.
Okay. When we get to Dock I-93, I would assume that Shren probably has some things to like get the ship in order, and then Berg's probably doing some paperwork, and Onyx will I'm just gonna shoo them away and be like, yo, make yourself scarce for a minute.
To work.
Can take a hint.
Kiki, I think we need to talk.
Oh, you only call me Kiki when you're gonna say something really bad.
It's not bad.
Okay.
Well, I guess. Why don't you tell me what was that today? Those ships.
What do you mean?
You know what I'm talking about.
Also, Deadpool's army, thank you so much for the raid. Thank you.
Hello, welcome in.
Are you talking about when everything went boom?
I mean, there were several occasions on which that happened, but I think that you know the one that I'm referring to.
Yeah, I do.
Was just hoping that we could just not talk about it. Maybe. Ever. Look, okay. I'd always told you that if something happened, I was going to take care of it. Okay? That if something attacked the skyport, or if there was something that needed to be done, that I had something in place, and that was my something. It was set to go. It's been set for months. It was perfectly safe. And then the world fucking ended. The trigger was in my shop. It was under 7 different arcane locks. I was the only one who had access to it. It shouldn't have gone off in any other situation. And then it did. And I just have to be okay with that. Because I fucked up again. I know, okay? I know.
Does anyone else know?
No. I didn't even tell Onyx.
Not even a hint of you putting whatever that was in those ships?
No, why would I tell anybody? It was that if something went really, really bad, I could get to the shop, and the way that it was set to go would cut off most of the areas that didn't need, like, it was supposed to work. I did so many different test runs, and the calculations and the math was all good. I didn't think the world was going to end. And that there was going to be that kind of stuff that hit it. I wasn't going to tell anybody. Nobody knows. Not even any of the other mechanics. The only person I would have told would have been Onyx, but they didn't need to know. I certainly wasn't going to tell you, because you were going to react like this.
Fair point.
Okay.
Look, I'm going to beat myself enough. I'm going to beat myself up enough about it.
Look. We both know that you don't make the world's best decisions.
Yeah, okay, probably did.
But there's no way you could have known that was what was going to happen. I think as long as no one else knows of your involvement, it'll be fine.
I'm not gonna tell anybody.
Okay.
I'd rather not be, like, executed for treason.
Yeah. Okay. You ready to go?
Yeah, are you gonna tell me what you talked to the king about?
Nope.
Now that you've pinned me in the corner about it?
Not even a little. She's gonna turn around and walk into the cathedral.
I take my goggles off and I chuck them at her. I just chuck them at her.
So I'll say that you had this conversation a little ways away from the cathedral, and as you push through the crowd back towards the Chimera, Smoke, your AC is 14, correct?
My AC?
Yeah.
Not. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Someone kind of bumps past Ember first, and almost pushes you to the side a little bit, Ember, and you almost like, hey, fuckhead, like, arc up. But your eye immediately goes to Smoke, who is looking down and holding their stomach. You watch as a well of blood pours forth from her stomach. Smoke, you take 58 points of piercing damage.
Oh my god.
I'm
unconscious.
And you watch Ember. You watch as Smoke drops down amongst the crowd, and you try to catch who, like
what?
I need you to roll a perception check for me.
Oh my god! Wait, question. Am I good at this because of my totem?
In this instance, no.
Okay,
This
bitch.
is you
All
are just
right.
trying to
That's awfully convenient.
You are
bitch.
just trying to find. This isn't tracking someone. This is trying to find who did it in the first place.
That's
Like if you find them and continue to follow them, absolutely. But you don't. You need to identify the person first.
I'm so stressed out. I don't. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna just deduct all that from my hip. Holy shit.
$14. It was almost a 21, but then
Okay.
it rolled over.
Here's how.
My
this
passive
campaign
perception's
is
a
going-
19. I don't know if that matters.
Here's how this campaign is going to differ. Death saves are. I think death saves are one of the most metagame thing in the game. So for this campaign, I will roll death saves.
Okay.
So you will not know
Okay.
the state of the unconscious person, whether they are succeeding or failing.
Okay.
Ember, you
Why are you doing this to me?
search the crowd. How much time do you spend searching the crowd?
Oh.
Also, Onyx, Berg, and Shren, you are all aboard the Chimera. And you can see Ember standing amongst the crowd, like, looking. You can't see Smoke.
We can message her, right?
You can message Ember.
We have our
yeah.
comms.
If I can't see Smoke, I'm immediately spending. I'm finding my thing right now. I'm immediately spending charges and I'm scoping in. I want to see what's happening.
Okay. What are you spending the charge on? To see invisibility, to see shape changes, or because you don't have to spend charges to get the +5, -10.
No, I know. I
+5.
think I would do
Yeah.
it like just seeing Ember looking around and not seeing Smoke, and I knew that Smoke was there last. I think I'm just spending the max amount. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to look for shape changes or whatever. Like, with no idea of what's happening, I want to get the most information the quickest.
Okay, I'm gonna make a roll here because this is okay. You look at the crowd, and you don't see any shape changes, and you don't see anyone possibly invisible. But because you're looking through this part of the scope, it's essentially heat. Like you're looking for heat, and you can see someone lying on the ground, and it looks like they're not cooling as if dead, but they are losing heat. And you see a shape that looks very much like Smoke, and I'm going to roll another death save. Okay.
Oh my god, I can't handle this.
I'm sprinting that way if I have time while this is happening.
You bust through the crowd, and you see Smoke lying on the ground, blood just pouring out of this god-awful gut wound. It looks like someone has just gutted her, like with a long knife. And Smoke, kind of barely coherent, looks at you, kind of garbles a few nonsense words.
I will run up to her and like be holding her while looking for things.
Yeah, can I make?
What would you like to do? Are you just holding her?
I don't have any medical training, but I do have some wisdom. Can I try to do a medicine check?
Make a medicine check.
Yeah, I'm just holding. I don't know what to do. I'm just holding her. I mean, I'll put my hands on there, like to be like but like I don't like. She doesn't fucking know.
So 14.
Okay. You do not stabilize.
I figured.
But you do give advantage on this next death saving throw. Okay.
I think if I watch Onyx race past me, I'll assume it's extremely important. I will spend 2 charges from my tome to give a bonus to Onyx initiative score if we get into combat.
Okay. Good to know. Shren, is there anything you'd like to do in this instance?
Yeah, I kind of want to like be the opposite in the speed of that everybody's taking. Like he's like, oh gosh, and it just reaches back and I take out one of those like cure wounds syringes, and then I toss it to Fidget, and my little or homunculus servant flies and catches it and just flies it out to them. So it's a healing syringe, healing word or a healing cure wounds coming your way. carried by the shit. And then I don't actually even go outside.
Okay. You watch as Fidget kind of lands with a syringe in hand.
I'm gonna transfer Smoke over to Onyx, especially because they were already doing stuff like trying to stabilize her. And I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna start fucking pushing people out of the way, and just like tearing through this crowd.
As you kind of push through the crowd, you get the sense that the time it took you to stop and go to Smoke, whoever did this is long gone. They are. Roll an intelligence check for me.
Oh no, my worst thing. Just straight intelligence?
Yeah.
You're not a book barbarian?
No.
Librarian barbarian?
If I can get almost to the, I'm not as fast as Onyx maybe, but I would be behind, but I want to stay above everything to be looking for commotion in the crowd.
Okay.
And nothing is unusual, I assume.
There's so many people. It's organized chaos.
So I rolled a 15, but it's -1, so 14.
14 is good enough to know that whoever did this was a professional.
Yeah.
And as Smoke lays bleeding on the ground, Widget flying over, Ember pushing through the crowd, Onyx holding Smoke, and Berg looking for anything, that is where we're going to end it tonight.
You're a bastard, man. Adam is a bastard, man.
Oh, he's a bastard, man.
Adam's a bastard, man.
No, guys. Okay. Yeah. So as I lay bleeding,
and I will reveal. No, I won't. Never mind.
No, keep it.
Why are you this way?
All I wanted to do was have
You're
a
gonna tell us who
one-on-one
hurt
conversation
you.
with Smoke after Ember and have it not be the last conversation we had.
God.
He's like, have 2 levels and then die.
Have 2 levels.
The silver linings right before this. How could you do this?
You know, I actually think it's very poetic for that moment to have happened and then Smoke die. So, you know.
Wow, we are back every Monday. This is session 3 of up to 8, depending on how the story unfolds. And
I've planned for 8. So I've adjusted my plans for 8.
Amazing. So we are so gracious to our wonderful guests for joining us tonight. Thank you to everybody who rated in. Thank you so much to all of you sticking around. We've been like in the top 3 of D&D all night. Our hearts go out to you. Thank you. We are back on Wednesday for DM Roulette. Oh my gosh, please come join Adam and Tim and myself and our fantastic guests, Jay from Swole Initiative, Weston, who's Arcane Anthems, Abaddon Kilgrave, and Mistress Winter. We are so excited to have them join us 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then you can all come on Saturday and you can fucking yell at Adam in world building for trying to murder.
You know what the fun thing about this Saturday will be?
What? You're not going to stream? That's the fun thing?
Because this coming Monday is Halloween.
That's right.
And we have a lot going on that day. So we have to pre-record.
We are pre-recording on Friday.
And we're pre-recording on Friday. So I will be world building on Saturday, not able to talk about what has already happened on the Friday.
Just call it what it is, Adam. It's world destroying planning.
It's world destroying.
It really is.
World kicking.
Monster.
I'm disappointed at chat for not telling us there was a stabbing tonight.
Absolutely.
You should have known.
Ember called me Kiki. It was a sister moment. My gosh. You can all come yell at Adam on Saturday for world building. And then we are back next Monday for episode 4 of this campaign, where come heck or high water, we will be joined by the fantastic Tim Carlson, our very own DM here.
Tim was the assassin. Plot twist.
Tim, plot twist. I thought about that. I was like, did my own husband murder me?
I'll never tell.
We are gonna go raids. Let's see who is playing. Who's doing the D's and Dungeons and Dragons thing?
D's
Who's doing the murder crimes? Let's see. We are gonna go raid. Yeah, we're gonna go raid this wonderful channel called Smoking Dragons. That sounds fun.
Ooh.
we're going to go raid them. So please stick around for the raid. Our raid message is Blackwater wants you to be safe. One of our mods will pop that up in the chat. Please wish everyone at this new stream a fantastic, wonderful evening of adventuring. Please encourage them to drink their spider milk and wear their jorts. We love you all very much. And Adam, you look like you have something to say. You want to do more murder crimes before we leave?
When the world has ended,
assassins come for the entire party.
When the world has ended, it's hard to know who you can trust. So watch your back and be safe.
And be safe, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Stick around for the raid. Bye.
Bye.